Hey, it's Lily back again with another video. Today I'm actually right outside of my gym, about to head to the gym. As usual, I always have epiphanies before I go into the gym, and I have to share this message, or I have to share this conversation. And I was talking to my friends about high earners and how people make their money, and how when you're a high earner, you tend to be a little bit more conscious of things. And I wanted to actually talk about this and why high earners can still be broke. And I actually meet a lot of people who are actually living paycheck to paycheck and they're earning six figures or more. And that was always something really got me puzzled, or really not sure how that's happening. A lot of people expect if you're earning a certain amount of money that your life would be much more easier, that suddenly you have more money inflowing, coming to you. You'll have more savings, you wouldn't have to worry about things, and you can essentially buy a lot more things, right? Because you're earning more money. But the truth is that you can earn and get more things because you have more money, right? But not everyone actually does that. And here's some reason why some people who are so high earners are so broke. Number one, I want to actually just point out the obvious, and it is people who have high earning capacity or make a lot of money. Maybe they have tech degrees, or maybe they have financial degrees, or maybe they work in those areas of industries. Generally, when they are those kind of people, they have to go to places that are more expensive in living. For example, I have a lot of friends who are in tech and they live towards the Silicon Valley. And generally when you go to Silicon Valley, it's already expensive to live there, from the cost of living, from the goods, from everything. So they go and get these high paying jobs. And then what happens is that they spend a lot of money on their income, their living expenses, their rent most of the time, and they don't have a lot of money having left over, because generally they live in really high expensive areas, so they can go get those really high expensive jobs, right? And this also happens if you're pursuing a certain type of career, from financial, maybe if, for example, if you want to do something in the finance industry. Now these days, especially since the pandemic is over, a lot of people are required to go back to work. You probably have to go to New York City, or you have to go to Seattle, or you have to go to London, these major cities that are super expensive. So you can't save as much money. That's number one. Number two is that sometimes those people who make high income money, and it's the most obvious one too, is that because now they make high income money, they must live a high income life. So generally they now tend to either just live what they can earn, or live beyond their means. So generally that they would probably upgrade to a really nice home. They will probably get the shiny car. They will go get the luxury clothes so they can fit in a certain status, or they feel as if they should be doing stuff like that. And what happens is that you inflate so much of your life and you get so expensive, it's difficult for you to even have any money left over. And we don't really kind of look at it in a way that, hey, your life is really inflated, when you could be saving X amount of money if you just live somewhere a little further, or you don't upgrade every year for a new car, or you'll just buy it somewhere or live somewhere cheaper. And these are just kind of no-brainers that I would have expected, but people don't do that. I think a lot of people sense that I make a lot more money now, I can buy much more things. In reality, it costs more money to keep up with it rather than just living below your means. Another third part is that since now if you're a high income earner, you actually more likely be surrounded by people who make high income. So a lot of my friends are very successful and make six figures or more. And the truth is that sometimes when you're around people who aren't very conscious about what they're spending because they have an influx of money, you feel the need to keep up with them. Thankfully, I'm a little bit more conservative, and my friends are also the same way. But I know for a fact there's some people who have friends who are make a lot more money, and they go and spend a lot of money like in their clothes, their shoes, their lifestyle, so they can fit in with the friends, the group that they're in. And it's especially very prevalent if you work in a business area. For example, I work in business, and a lot of the activities means that we have to go to happy hour, or we have to go to really lavish places and dress up a certain way so we can make business deals. And that is just kind of the atmosphere that I'm surrounded in. And most of the time it's, it could get really expensive when you live in those kind of, those spaces, just so you can, make a buck or two, or like actually keep up with your life there. So, and then number 4, I think in this conversation, when it comes to people, making a lot more money and are broke, is that most people who are rich or make high income money don't invest in assets. They invest in liabilities. So what does this mean is that they actually, for example, buy things that depreciate over time, like their nice car, or maybe they buy a really expensive home in not the best location that doesn't appreciate, the fancy clothes, the watch. These are things that are just like lose value over time, and they don't actually spend and buy assets. These assets that accumulate wealth over time, or money, or generate some type of appreciation over time. These could be like buying rental homes, like real estate, or buying stocks, or buying, like dividends portfolios that having increase over time. Or I don't know, some stuff that increases, or developing businesses, creating businesses that will make you money. These are just kind of things that a lot of high earners, no matter if you're high earner or low earner, that don't actually spend their time putting energy into. Instead, we buy things that don't bring us value over time. And I talked a little bit, that's one reason why I'm a little more intentional with things I buy, because I spend a lot of my income buying assets, things that could over time bring in money. So one, it could reserve time for me to make money passively, but also when I'm older and I want to retire maybe, or something happens to me in an emergency, I still have income coming in from these assets. So that's another reason why a lot of high earners are so broke or don't make a lot of money. Number 5, I think is my last one, how high earners are still broke, or haven't yet learned how to save, or make their money work for them, is generally a lot of them are in debt. And this is something a lot of people don't know. It's just because you earn 6 figures doesn't mean you have 6+ figures in the bank. Some people, for example, if you want to be a lawyer, it might take you $120K to go through law school. If you want to go into maybe a doctor, maybe a $150K, $200K. If you want to actually be possibly, I'm thinking like, certified professions that involve a lot of years of schooling, even dental schooling. Dental school on average is like $30K. Like, to be a dentist is so expensive to be a dentist, but you come out and you make 6 figures right away. But the thing is, you also have to get in debt like 6 figures to get this education and this job. So a lot of people also come out with debt going to getting their education. For example, education, maybe their car loan or houses, they get themselves so much in debt that they can't really come out of it, even with their 6 figures. They have accumulated more debt than they have to make. And then on top of that, they have inflated lifestyles. They still keep up with the trends. They are not putting money into assets, stuff like that. But most of the time, when you have a high profession and you work maybe in an industry that requires you to go higher education, or just requires you to go to locations that are more expensive, you are more likely to go in debt for those. And this is the part where it's really sad, but it's very much true. You can't go in these professions until you go in debt with them. And a lot of them take a lot of chunk. Actually, when you get loans, or especially school loans, the interest is just much more higher sometimes than your you could ever pay back in time, and you're pretty much in debt for several years if you don't create a strategy on that. But I also wanted to mention that sometimes, even if you're a high earner, that because to earn those 6 figures, you had to get in debt in order to get there. And people lug around debt regardless if they make 6 figures. So sometimes it's better not to be in debt and then be less than 6 figures, because you're gaining a positive net worth in your money. And then with that money, you can buy assets and help your portfolio and all that build over time. But anyways, this is kind of my thought and idea I wanted to share. And I've been watching some videos about it too. And I heard what other people were saying in my friend group. But I also wanted to just be honest. There's a lot of people who are probably wondering how you can be broke while you still have 6 figures. I wonder the same thing. And thank God that I'm doing well, right? Thank God I'm not in debt and I'm doing well for myself. But it always does shock me to see that again. But sometimes at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how much money you make. It matters like what you do with your money and your cost of living and how you live your life intentionally. And you can be very successful making less than 6 figures. Or if you do make 6 figures, you still can be successful. There's always a time to turn yourself around. Like the best time was yesterday, but today's the second best day to do it. So anyways, I hope you have a great day and you enjoyed this video. Just a chat bladder with me, how to share with my ideas. But until next time, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.